Anderson, who is an original member of Yes, and he doesn't prescribe to that whole thing. So copyright BS. Bye. Some of you who are old recall this song from the movie Legend from the 80s, a fantasy starring a very young Tom Cruise before he got spun out by Scientology. And yeah, so I'm just gonna play this. It should just come through. There we go. Alright. Anyway, so this song's called Love by the Sun. Okay? It's a classic. Like I said, I didn't really play any lyrics. Back there, sir. Thank you, sir. Alright. Where to start? Hard to say. I've been talking to everybody. I bounce around a lot. Thanks for recording this, by the way. I've recently joined Instagram. It's hard to reach the millennials unless you catch them where they're at, but they're always moving, you know? Stop and pay attention to... Stop and smell the flowers, smell the roses. Some of you have been listening to me saying these same things over and over again, and I get a little excited sometimes, especially lately, and I talk fast, and it gets confusing because it seems like I'm conflicting myself, but I'm not. Questions, answers, so many. It's fun to meet a lot of young kids that are cool. Especially came here to meet Sean. I've been talking to his mom for about 12 years now, since he was about 5 years old. So it's been fun to... Sorry. Okay. It's been fun to come and see, like, I kind of pop in here from time to time. I move around a lot, but always near Pittsburgh. It's fun to come in and see where the kid ended up, you know. I get progress reports from his mom, just conversations that she's randomly had with me. It's neat, you know. Finally got to meet him in person, which is really cool. His brother's up in New York now. Talked a lot about him too. I mean, I'm older than I look. I should probably mention that. That confuses people too. Especially when I talk to older people, so that's why I try to go with stuff that they might remember. Yeah. So, throw me a topic. Anybody have a question? Throw me anything you like.
Religion.
Alright, so this is the topic that nobody wants to talk about because nobody wants to offend anybody, which is really BS. I'm a Christian, personally. I don't really care what you want to be or what you want to believe in, because if you look back far enough in time and look at the central tenets of almost every religion that has ever existed, there are certain core beliefs and codes that have existed, independent. You have Japan, you have places, island nations that had no contact with anyone else, but yet these certain simple rules, these love each other, don't be a dick, these things are everywhere. And how else did that get there? Because there were no connections then. You go back to the ancients, you go back in time, and these central rules were always there. Interpretation causes problems. Usually the people who claim to be defending God are not defending him, because God doesn't need anyone to defend him. They're using words that they read in a book somewhere to judge you, while claiming to follow a guy that said, don't judge. So really you have to consider the contradictory nature of the people who are trying to talk to you about things. Recently I said to somebody, be careful who you take relationship advice to. Maybe look at their relationship history first before you accept advice from them. Because everybody will give you advice based on what they think you should do, but if they didn't live that way, why are you listening to them? I've always been a guy that practices what I preach. I come from a very poor house, worked for everything I ever had, and I don't know, I kind of like it that way. I've learned a lot, a whole lot. I've worked crew for PAX East, which is a video gaming convention that started up in Boston in 2010. I was there for the very first one. I tend to show up first for things because I like to direct where it's going from there. Learned a lot of crew work from that, a lot of sound, lighting, everything. I do things to learn things, not to make money. Never really been concerned with money. I've always had all the money I actually needed, not how much everybody thinks I should want to have. When I was younger, I did computers. I did video games. I've always been exceptional at them. My mom's like, go to school for computers, but yeah, let me put myself $30,000 in debt to get a piece of paper that says I know how to do something I already know how to do. And it just was a bad idea. So I studied psychology and English writing, because those were fun things. But to be honest with you, I'm a polymath. I'm a Renaissance man, and a lot of people wanted to compete with me in school, and I've never really been a guy that wanted to compete. I just want to help everybody out, you know? But, so I've had a lot of people that try to direct my life, but I just do me all the time. And you'll find that if you do what will make you happy, as opposed to what will make you money, you will have a lot less stress in your life. And the movement that we're doing now, if you want to focus it on Bernie Sanders, feel free, but this is going on kind of nationwide, is to actually invest in the future of our kids now, to make it more like it is in other countries, where school is free as long as you pass the test. As long as you dedicate yourself to it, whatever you want to study, that ought to be what you're able to do. And that's investing in the future, not bombs, not guns, not spending more on those things than the next 27 countries combined. So we stop fighting people, and we start spending our money on what matters, and you'd be amazed how quickly the world can change. Because people have often said that America's the greatest country in the world, and that was true at some point, but not so much anymore. We don't need to be building walls, we need to be shaking hands. And if you want to lead the world, you want to be the shining beacon, then you need to not be killing each other remotely with remote control aircraft, basically. That's what we're working on. So I started with religion, went to politics and everywhere else. Any more questions? Throw me a topic, anything.
Chocolate bars.
Chocolate bars. Okay. Primarily, well, let's go back in time. Hershey.
Okay.
Hershey, PA. Immigrant. Came over to here. A lot of candy that's popular in this country actually started here in the Keystone State. If you've ever been to Altoona, it's a major candy town. Goatse's Caramel Chews, Altoona. Mallow Cups, Altoona. Hershey obviously is the entire Hershey Empire, Hershey Park, etc. But there's a ton of candy that comes from, you know, literally an hour or two's drive away from here. It's kind of interesting. There's a lot of firsts that occurred right near where we're at right now. First air brake invented, first radio station broadcasting in the United States, in the world, in fact. The reason why KDKA has a K call sign instead of a W like everyone else is because they were first, the very first broadcaster, right out of Pittsburgh. And they keep that K because they're the original, and there's no reason that they should ever have to change. The Westinghouse air brake invented here. Westinghouse is great as well. Still owns CBS, by the way, as opposed to the other two that have just constantly shifted ownership back and forth to various warmongers and other things. But yeah, started at candy bars, jumped to ownership of media empires. Any other questions? I'm kind of all over the place.
Good.
Yeah, in the back. Yes, no? No? You guys are good? Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm gay, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. My name is Franklin Benjamin Richards. I can be found on Facebook. And franklinbenjaminrichards.com, which will be launched probably within a week or so. I think the primary problem in the past is that I've let other people write stories for me that I should be writing myself. So I'm just going to throw it all out there. Thanks for listening, and I will continue conversing with you guys randomly for fun.